Now, for 5 years, African migrants have sought refuge in Israel away from the conflicts and poverty in their homelands. But for many, the long trek across Egypt and the Sinai Desert to the Israeli border has become increasingly dangerous. Rebecca Collard has more.
Israel is a promised land for many African asylum seekers. Since 2007, the UN Agency for Refugees says around 50,000 have slipped across the remote desert border from Egypt into Israel. They come primarily from Eritrea and Sudan, trek through Egypt and across the barren Sinai to reach their goal. Still, Israel is constructing a fence along its border with Egypt to keep out militant but also smugglers and migrants. William Tall of the UN Refugee Agency in Israel says African migrants' already precarious journey is becoming more treacherous.
Maybe about a year and a half ago, reports started coming to our attention of initially serial and systematic sexual abuse of women, which has continued until today. And then what began to emerge at that time was extortion. These people were reporting paying between $30,000 to $40,000 now to come to Israel.
Physicians for Human Rights in Tel Aviv has interviewed hundreds of African migrants and refugees who report being abused, beaten, and raped by Egyptian Bedouin smugglers in Sinai. Sister Azizat Kandane volunteers with the clinic. She describes what she calls torture.
When I say torture, it's the burning with fire, with electricity, with beatings. Sometimes they die under the beatings.
This Eritrean woman wants her face hidden. She says smugglers held her for 60 days in Sinai and shot her in the arm when she fought back against rape and other abuse.
She doesn't know if she was pregnant or not, but her period was stopped after they have raped her, and she doesn't know if she was pregnant because she did 4 times operation, and she knows that once she was examined by the gynecologist, and she doesn't know what they did.
Many women who arrive pregnant come here to this shelter run by the African Refugee Development Center. Sarah Mosch, a psychology student from Germany, works with those who stay.
We try to take care of them, to empower them, to help them to gain some independence here in Israel, because most of the women come from Africa, past the border, experience terribly traumas on the way, and come here with almost nothing. They don't have nothing beside the clothes they are wearing on themselves.
Before arriving pregnant in Israel, Judith says smugglers held her for months.
No have money after
If you say you don't have money, they hit you with sticks. After I told them I can't transfer you money, they said, "Come sleep with me." And then they grabbed me here.
Like many women here with a newborn baby and no work permit, Judith has no guarantee of a new life in Israel. Rebecca Collard for VOA News, Tel Aviv.